The essence of which is we can never really hate someone without first having loved them, or at least cared for them. Sometimes I think our frustration is born out of a confusion. There's a confusion in the way that the things that we love and the things that we hate are often linked. Tommy, do you have any feedback?
Sure. Yeah, sure. The notion that anger per se is a bad thing, I would say, respectfully, is horse shit. If General MacArthur's reaction to Pearl Harbor had been to go and find a quiet place and do some deep breathing, you'd be goose-stepping into this meeting today. There'd be a great big eagle on the wall.
Okay. Do you want to talk about love and hate, maybe? Because understandably, I think there can be some confusion.
There again, you see, I don't think there's any confusion, because things I love and hate couldn't be more different. I love my daughter, love my Mustang, my girlfriend, love the way Eno can paint a picture with music, descending arpeggios, rather reminiscent of falling autumn leaves. But I fucking hate my ex-wife. And that may change, but right now it's been modus operandi. And I'm going to leave now for two reasons. One, I don't want to lose my temper, which I think you'll agree shows some growth. And two, this clown's just let one go. Don't deny it.
Tommy. Tommy.
I'll come back, I may have a pop at you. All this relationship stuff, I find it quite tough to talk about. I'm from a failed marriage, and, you know, I was no day at the beach, but the chick I tied the knot with, dudes, she was pretty low. She was so low, she could crawl under the carpet with a top hat on. And she was cold. She was so cold, I remember once she climbed into the fridge just to warm up. And she was aggressive too. I don't know if you know, she used to work on a whaling ship, but she didn't like to use the harpoon gun. She preferred to dive in and strangle them.
Sorry, Tommy, are you just making jokes?
Yes, I'm bored. And I believe that laughter is the best medicine.
Certainly laughter and positive thinking are all an important part of the recovery process.
Then how can we never use laughter in here?
Now, hold on. I seem to remember last week some of you found my Incredible Hulk socks rather amusing.
I saw them as a cry for help.
I think you're becoming a bit passive-aggressive, Tommy. Anger doesn't have to be expressed through shouting or physical violence. There are many ways. There's sarcasm, for example.
Oh, quelle surprise. I must try that sometime.
I have to say, I think you're being a bit sarcastic there.
That was the joke.
I think you're maybe a little bit angry.
I think you know that saying that might make me angry. But I'm not going to let it, because I think it's all about repeat work for you guys. Because if you said today that we were all cured, we could go home, then next week you'd be sat there on your Todd reading The Hungry Caterpillar, with no one to listen to you or see you do that thing with your eyebrows.
You can't help
it! Let me finish, thanks. I'm not getting angry. You know, if I was, you'd know about it, because I'd go and get one of those Israeli bulldozers and drive it through this fucking library. But I'm not. I'm not angry. I am having a great time. I'm really good mood. All right, mate.
Anger can come from a lot of different sources. Sometimes it can be very deep-seated with something we've carried with us for a very long time. Perhaps we were overweight as a child. We didn't get enough love from a parent. Perhaps we were smothered, perhaps we had too much love.
Like Tim with his Scoutmaster.
Yeah, there are other examples. We can talk about them maybe.
Don't look at me like that. You told us.
So, the man who gets out of his car and attacks another driver, for example, it may have been a very small thing that tipped him over the edge. Perhaps he slept through his alarm, missed breakfast.
Idi Amin, African dictator, killed loads of people. Nutter. Chopped his wife's head off and stuck it in the fridge. Go figure. Perhaps one morning, Mrs. Amin came into the bedroom and said, "You have been hitting that fucking snooze button for the last 40 minutes. Idi, now your yolks have gone hard." Cue the old cranium and the cooler scenario. Yeah, maybe no one likes a nag, but...
My point is that we can't allow our anger to be like a volcano, erupting and harming those around us. But neither can we suppress it.
You can't just bottle it up.
Exactly, because then it becomes self-destructive.
It just like eats away at you. And some people, in fact, get cancer.
Yeah, that is one theory.
You just got to let it go. If the other bloke wants to hate you, let him.
Yeah.
Bit of luck, he'll get cancer.
What that tells us is, if someone's angry with you and you respond with anger, what you're doing is inflaming rather than diffusing the situation. If we look all around the world, we see negotiation is always better than conflict.
Not always possible though, is it, Alistair? Take the urban squirrel. I would like nothing better than to hammer out a negotiated settlement, to sit down at a round table with some senior squirrels and say, "Listen guys, help yourself to the pine kernels, but lay off the cherry tomatoes."
Clearly that's not possible.
Clearly that's not possible. But, and now, you have the added phenomenon of squirrels who, whilst foraging, stumble across stashes of crack cocaine hidden in public parks by drug dealers, and they need only ingest a very small amount before they turn incredibly violent. The cuddly cheeky squirrel, very much a thing of the past. I have seen a squirrel go from that to that in seconds. It is frightening. They are very aggressive. They're all like Tupac Shakur or 50 pence piece or whatever he calls himself. They know no fear. I have seen a squirrel with my own eyes punch a pit bull terrier on the nose. And you can say what you like about anger management, but if it's between me and a crack squirrel, I would take that squirrel down. I would take that squirrel down to Chinatown.
Do you want to take a break?
Yes, please.
Yeah, well, it's like if you go nuts, it feels good at the time, but later it feels worse, and it's actually better to try and sort of work it out.
That's good. That's very good. That's very good. Anyone else? Tommy?
Well, anger is like flatulence, isn't it? Insofar as it's far better to let it out in increments than to let go with one humongous rattle.
Oh, well, yes, yeah. Inasmuch as losing your temper is about transferring that anger to those closest to you.
Well, you're farting in the face of the person you love, aren't you? If you ask the police, they will tell you that most murders are committed by a friend or relative of the victim. They take place at home, in the office, on public transport, in a lift, in a jacuzzi.
Are we still talking about murder?
I hold my hands up. The last three examples were specifically farting.
Right.
And I speak as both perpetrator and victim.
Well, joking apart, it's not just about controlling your anger. It's also about emotional honesty, taking responsibility for when you do have an outburst.
Totally. All the stuff we talk about in here is a waste of time if we can't apply it in the real world. Sorry.
No, do go on. It's good. Do go on.
Well, when I leave here and I make a mistake, which I will, because none of us are perfect.
Thank goodness.
That when I cross that line, and it's the people around me who'll suffer, that I at least have the moral conviction and honesty and courage. It takes courage to stand up and say, I've dropped my guts. Right, I make that 11:01.
Okay, Simon, just relax. Let all the tension go out of your body, all the stress draining away. You're visualizing yourself as a tree. Good. What kind of tree are you, Simon?
Redwood.
An oak tree.
Redwood.
Great big oak.
Yeah, no, a sycamore. No, an ash.
Giant redwood.
No, a redwood.
And that's the biggest tree in the forest, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it's really high. Very high up. I can see for miles.
Can you see any people?
Yes.
Yeah, there's people walking on the
What
ground.
do they look like?
Ants.
They look like ants.
Sorry. Why is it always ants?
The people like you, don't they? They like the giant tree.
Yeah, they do. They're walking around me, and smiling.
How does that make you feel?
I feel really good. Yeah, really happy.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
In the peace and quiet of the forest,
Yeah,
making people happy.
yeah. Yes, it does. I think so. The people are making me angry. I just want to lift up my great big legs and stamp on them. Stamp on them. Keep stamping on them.
It's okay, Simon, it's okay.
Squash them.
Thank you for that. Why don't you just go take a moment, maybe get yourself a glass of water.
Make a cup of tea.
Well done. Tommy, I couldn't help noticing that you were a bit distracted during that. Do you not feel you're engaging with this exercise?
I'd like to posit the notion that some of these exercises may be a waste of time.
What makes you say that?
A hunch.
Another way of learning how to manage our anger is through role play. Tommy, you're a traffic warden, right? Because, God, we all get a bit angry when we get a blooming parking ticket, don't we? I'll play the motorist.
Right.
And we're starting. What's this? You're giving me a ticket? I was only 1 minute over.
Yep, I'm a traffic warden. I'm on commission.
If you don't rip up that ticket right now, I'm going to get very cross.
Oh, don't get cross. I'm only doing my job. Can we stop this, please? I want this to work. I just don't think it's not ringing true for me. Can we just swap roles for a minute?
Yeah,
Just
well,
for 1 minute.
all right, just for a minute.
Okay. Why'd you give me that parking ticket?
You'd exceeded the allocated time on the meter.
Only a minute over, and you saw me running for the car.
Well, it's not that I don't sympathise with you, but if I bend the rules for one person, that wouldn't be fair.
You say you can't, but I know for a fact that it's within your remit to exercise some discretion when it comes to the application of fixed penalty notices. So you do have a choice. You can rip the ticket up, because it's within your remit, or I can knock your teeth so far down your throat that when you come to clean them in the morning, you'll have to stick a toothbrush up your arse. In fact, I'll give you such a fucking good hiding that you'll end up with a twitch.
But then you'll be arrested and...
Oh, I'll end up in court before the judge, and I'll say, I'm very sorry, but I didn't get a bike when I was a kiddie. And he'll understand. And they'll give me £100 fine and make me walk up and down the canal for a week, collecting litter with one of those spiky sticks. And when it's all over, months later, when I've completely forgotten about it, I'm sitting on a park bench doing my Sudoku with my cafe latte, and you'll come walking by, and I'll go, here comes Twitch. You see, that's more the sort of thing I think that'd be, realistic. Yeah. Could you say, Alistair, this is really working for me, you know. I really feel I'm, you know, moving forward. Yeah. Should you have some tea and biscuits? I'll make it.
I mean, I realise I was actually medicating my anger. But my blood runs cold when I think back to the stuff I did when I was out of it. Anything I could lay my hands on. Booze, heroin. I smashed up a brand new BMW 850i. The hookers I was with, well, they must have been psychic, because they jumped out 5 minutes before I wrapped that thing around a tree. Doctor told me I'd severed 3 tendons in this arm, broke this wrist. Got up, went to the nearest bar, like some crazy latter-day dandy, ordered a double jack, and racked up a line of the devil's dandruff.
Well, thank you, Jeff. That sounds harrowing.
Oh, it was, my friend.
Would anybody else like to share any similar... Tommy?
Yeah, no, just listening to Jeff's story. Brought back some bad memories for me about when I was so high on drugs and fat from pies, I went out and drove over a puppy. A really cute one, and then I ate it. And then I was thirsty. I ended up drinking the acid from my car battery. And I was tripping so much I actually fell into some farmyard machinery. Now that was harrowing. I severed all the tendons in my head, shoulders, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and nose, but crucially my head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And the doctors who were charged with reattaching the tendons on my head botched the job because they were high on drugs too. And they, unbelievably, stitched my head on back to front. So whenever I tried to move forward, I end up taking 2 steps back.
Tommy, you're not going to take this seriously?
And, shamefully, I stole a live dolphin and used it as a bong, smoking through the blowhole. So, who's won the competition?
What competition?
You know, the I'm dead interesting because I was the baddest behaved person on drugs competition.
There's no competition, Tommy. This is very important to Jeff.
Yeah, this is actually very serious for me. I was living on the edge.
Well, you were living on the edge of Windsor. Shine on, you crazy diamond / financial advisor.
Hang on a minute, you hippie
Hey,
prick.
don't take it personally, dude. Just keep it in perspective. You used to be a total dick, now you're just a bit of a dick. Welcome to Dick Club. That is why I always take anything uttered by a man in a suit with a soup song of sodium chloride. I beg your pardon? That's not a very nice thing to say. You don't even know his mother. I'm done, yeah.
Well, thank you, Tommy, and thank you, Jeff, for allowing Tommy to express his opinion, however forthright that might be. And I do hope, Tommy, that you will extend Jeff the same courtesy and give him the rabbit.
Yeah, shoot from the breech, dude. There's nothing you can call me that I haven't heard 1,000 times before. The bearded monster, Tommy the Tank, the mental mammoth, and Mr. Saxondale, and the wild man of Stevenage. Oh!
I think you consistently disrupt the flow of each class because you pathologically feel the need to dominate every single
Is
conversation.
he talking about me?
Much like that. And in such situations, where people have the option to walk away from you, I'm imagining they generally do.
Alistair?
I've got the rabbit. I think also deep down you realise most people find you ridiculous. And your behaviour is some sort of defence mechanism. And when you are in fact offered criticism, instead of taking it on board, you shoot the messenger.
Piss off. Don't shoot the messenger, or I'll pull your head off. I will pull its head off. Yeah, don't believe me. Sorry about that, Alistair. I don't know what... it's from John Lewis, so you can take it back. 7 days.
Selfishness.
Selfishness, yeah.
Cruelty.
Cruelty. That's great. What other words make us angry?
Global warming.
God, yeah, don't get me started on that. Yeah.
Poverty.
Poverty.
Bully.
Bully, that's a great one.
Hatred.
hatred.
Divorce.
Okay, let's move on now to words that make us feel happy.
Divorce.
Broadband. Broadband, that's great. Everyone loves broadband. Now, I'd like you all to try and think of words that make you feel neither happy nor sad. Words that elicit no response, that are emotionally neutral.
Glass.
Glass. Very good.
Stone.
Stone.
Post-its.
Right, let's move on from that exercise. The point of which, by the way, was to show you
Leicester.
neutral words can help. That we can
Roundabout.
yes, good. The point of which, by the way, was to show you there are
Semi-skim milk.
Semi-skim milk, for example, that we can use to calm ourselves in difficult situations. In the United States, in prisons, they paint the interior of cells with neutral colours to help pacify violent offenders. And we're doing much the same thing, using neutral words to elicit a subliminal response and a feeling of respite and calm.
Rice cakes.
Yes, rice cakes.
Mug tree. 3 p.m.
Yeah, okay. It all feels good, though.
Yeah, yeah. Mild cheddar.
We really have to move on to the next.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid?
Yeah.
No, that is good. That is good. That works. There you go, therapy in action.
I'd go further. I'd say that all men have a percentage of themselves which is homosexual. I'm, I don't know, 2-3%. Alistair, you must be what, 5, 6, 6.5. Even Big Don, I imagine, has got a small, no, less than 1%. Zero. Right. Point is, you know, we've moved on, and you don't have to be homo to be in touch with your feminine side, as you said. I, for example, in high summer, will use a moisturiser, Bronze Guard, the kind used by Canadian fishermen. You know, that doesn't make me, you know, a woolly woofter, because, you know, we're all a lot more mature.
That's right, Tommy, yes. And interestingly, gay men are more in touch with their femininity. They're more open emotionally and therefore less prone to the pressure cooker of macho behaviour that can lead to male anger. So, you know, 3 cheers for the gays.
Absolutely, I love them. Yeah, I like them. You know, when I was a kid, you know, we had a local homosexual who was a real colourful character, Peter Pansy, we used to call him. Never had any bother. You know, he'd get the occasional, very occasional brick through the window, but, you know, apart from that, he'd just sort of swan around happy as you please, you know, and people would say, "Hello, Peter, how are your pansies?" And he'd say, "They're blooming queer," you know, smashing, really, you know, and never any nonsense from him, you know, good as gold. Yeah. You don't really see full-on benders like that these days, do you?
And how does your conversation with your anger end?
Goodbye, Dave. Goodbye, anger. I no longer want you in my life, and I have the power to make you go. So, goodbye, anger. My anger is saying, bye, Dave.
Thank you. Yeah. Feels good, yeah?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. What Dave has done is, by writing a conversation with his anger, he's turned his anger into a person. And I have to say, if I was Dave's anger, I certainly wouldn't be hanging around after that dressing down. I'd probably be shouting, "Hey, taxi!" Tommy, do you have your conversation with your anger?
Very good. Hello, anger. Hello, Tommy. How are you? I was wondering when you were going to get in touch. Yeah, I've been busy. Shall we go to the pub? Look, there's something I've got to tell you. It's over. How do you mean? I thought we were getting on great. No. You were dragging me down. Well, you could have told me before. It's the first I've been aware of it. Come on, let's go out and get pissed and wake up in someone's garden. You just don't get it, do you? You've gone all lardy-darish. You've been hanging out too much with that wet fart therapist, Alistair. That wet fart helped me. He's a ponce with shit hair and a face like the moon. He is not a ponce. Stop whining. Shut up. No, you shut up. No, you. No, you. I want you out by Tuesday. I've met someone else. Who? He's called Positive Vibes. Oh, yeah? Where did you meet him? That's not important. I said, where did you meet him? Middle Street Library, if you must know. Oh, is that it then? Is he your new mate, eh? Got his feet under the table, has he? Yeah, he's moving in. Is he? Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going upstairs to have a shower. No, you're not. You're going to get your stuff and go. Oh, yeah, who's going to make me? You and Moonface. His name's Alistair. And him, me, and Positive Vibes are going to kick you so hard in the pants, you'll be wearing your fucking arsehole as a necklace. And that's where I fell asleep, because, I wrote it in bed.